Yeah, baby, I hold my weight. I ain't gon' hold you if you don't wanna stay. Yeah, but I won't go back to my old ways. Yeah, I'ma let it die with the good old days. So I hold my head, I hold my waist. You ain't gotta live up in the home I made. If this ain't about to go my way, baby, you ain't gotta stay. Baby, I gotta hold my way, just wait. I ain't gon' die looking back up on a bad road. I won't live a lie, cause I'm living now. I won't spend a lot.
Let's get this show started. All right. We're here for another episode of Stay Beautiful America. I'm here with Nadiem.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Musician, rapper, artist from Columbus, originally from Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming over. I know our buddy Nico set this up, and I appreciate him for that. Obviously, we're going to talk about your music a bit. I think that's going to be the main thing, but I'll have some other random stuff to throw in there for you as well.
Cool, man.
First thing, just really want to ask you is, I creeped on you today and yesterday. I did my homework, as I like to say. I went to your website. I thought that was really legit looking. Like I really was impressed with how it was laid out. I liked your little bio, and I figured from there I was just gonna let you kind of take over. But I saw in the bio that you've been making music since you were a kid.
Yeah.
So what made you chase this dream and passion about it? Like, how did you get involved, and sort of the story behind it?
Yeah, good question, man. Thanks for creeping on me. I feel flattered.
I'm not one of those creepy IG girls, but I had to do my homework.
Hey, man, I feel it. I mean, so I went to Ohio State. That's why I stayed in Columbus. But I needed something to do. I was this chubby fat kid that didn't know what he wanted to do in college. Changes his majors a bunch. And Cleveland, I mean, it's a music city.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I knew I liked rap. I just started to slowly get into. There were a bunch of groups on campus, and I didn't have a lot of friends. I just found something that, hey, what can I do after classes so I'm not sitting in the damn dorm all day?
Yeah.
And I found a few groups. I ended up majoring in music and psychology, and it just became a thing where, hey, in my free time, instead of going out partying or playing video games all the time, which I do now, but it was just like, hey, what can I do to possibly pay my bills with this?
Yeah.
So I just started doing all the outside stuff instead of just focusing on content music wise. I was like, how can I market this? How can I turn it into a business? Making that website.
Yeah.
I made that. I think I was like an 18-year-old kid. I was just learning on GoDaddy and stuff like that. Like, hey, how can you customize it yourself? What templates can you use?
Yeah.
Just doing stuff like that. But I think sometime in college it started to gain some traction, and I was like, hey, maybe I can actually do this. Started meeting the right people, started doing festivals, streams started picking up. So I was like, hey, let's just keep the ball rolling. Quit my day job. I was like, hey, let's see where it goes, and just took a life of its own.
Yeah. How do you get some of your inspiration for writing the songs and everything? Because I listened to a handful of them this morning too. Nice. I really liked Wristwatch. I like the flow of that. Obviously, Hold My Weight too. I wanted to talk about that because I think that the music video was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
The dancing, and I was going to ask about how you came up with that idea and concept, because I thought that was just something different,
No, for sure, man. I think with the music itself, my entire brand is on being relatable. Just talking about everyday life. I don't really rap about anything I don't go through. Even if it's fiction, I try to find motivation or inspiration from something that I've been through to make some type of lyric relatable.
Yeah.
And it sells, you know what I mean? So I think that with even Wristwatch, it was fun. We had a cool feature on it, but I try to do that with all the tracks. Hold My Weight was a whole new composition because I released from the label that I was working with previously, and now that I have a little bit more freedom, I can make music that I genuinely like, which doesn't knock anything I did in the past, but I was young, I was a kid.
Yeah.
And some of it's a little bit elementary, and it's good, but now I'm getting into a new section where I can just really enjoy what I'm creating. Not just what's out now, but what's coming out later. Even that video too, with Hold My Weight, obviously I have a ton of help. There's a bunch of people in that video, and we have choreographers that help with that too. One of them's here in Cleveland, actually, Lex Cuevas, I believe her name is. Just helps trying to get hey, where does this person go? Who can be in a position to complement this scene?
Yeah, exactly. It was very well done.
Oh, thanks. They killed it. Our video team's really good. I work with his name's Talib out of Columbus. He's been all over the country with me, from here, New York, Hawaii, anywhere we go to film. He's always got my back to come. But I think the main thing is just making sure you have a good team around you, making sure that all the aspects besides music can complement you. You know what I mean? So this way you can focus on creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the most important things, I would say.
Yeah.
I know you did just mention this. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I thought it was pretty relatable. So you mentioned your brother passing.
Yeah.
How, was it all of a sudden, like just out of the blue, or?
No, stage 4 sarcoma. Really rare case. But that's another reason why you guys probably didn't see me release music for quite some time there. I don't talk about what happens behind the scenes or what happens, but sister's brother, as in sister's husband, of like 8-9 years, somebody really close to us. I kind of just took a pause on life, like, yo, man, fuck this music stuff. I don't know if I can cuss, but
no, you can.
But I was like, man, fuck this. Like, I need to step away. I just need to focus on life for a little bit. That wristwatch song put me in a good financial position to where I didn't have to worry about working or get another day job or anything like that. So I just I was like, hey, let me just step back from this for a little bit and see what happens. Plus at that time I was working with some shitty people in the industry that were all about money anyway, so I just was like, let's take a pause. But I think it made me stronger. It put me in a position to better appreciate things that I do now. So I think that now with this new return, we're just gonna come back even better.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now your shirt. I see you're wearing your brand.
Yeah, man, it's the barcode.
Yeah. How did you come up with that? Like, it's the Exception label, correct?
Yep. So
how did you come up with that and the design? I mean, it's unique. It stands out.
Man.
Like, it's simple, but it gets your point across. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I think the main thing is just as an innovator itself, not even just music, just making sure that you can stand out or be unique.
Yes.
What makes you different from the rest of the crowd.
That's the whole point of this show.
Yeah, nice, man. With this, honestly, I put out an EP, my first release as a kid. I think I was like 19 years old or something, or 18. I needed something. I went on some Canva website. I was like just looking up ideas. I grew up in a weird household. Like, my dad's Muslim, Palestinian, my mom's Catholic Italian. So we got like a really weird dynamic, and they're divorced, but they stayed together for a really long time. So I got to see both sides of that, and for me it was, to all your American friends, you're like, oh, you're that little Arabic kid with the corner store, you got the Arab money, all that bullshit, like, it's just it's part of the stereotype, you know what I mean? And then on the other side, for like the Arabic side of people, you're like, oh, you're still American, you're white, you're not really Arab, like, so you get a taste of both. And like, especially when I was starting to go into rap, it was like, hey, man, you're not about to do this shit. Like, you're just some weird, foreign kid. Or on the other side, it's the same thing. So it was always this label that was being like constantly placed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, man, fuck this. Like, I got to figure out something. Like, what can I brand to complement what I'm trying to do?
Exactly.
And that's where the whole Exception came from. I was like, man, you know what? I can run with this. I can turn it into something. And
dope.
I created it from the spot. I trademarked it. I licensed it. We got it to where, nobody can use it, of course, but I think that's why it's tatted on my arm. It means more to me than just the brand itself. It's like, hey, man, this is going to carry with me for a legacy, and I want to build something with it. And I think I am. I think that it pops, it makes sense, and it's like, again, it's very relatable.
No doubt. I was going to ask too then, because I guess I was maybe a little confused. I took a little note here.
No, go ahead.
Where the fuck did I put it?
Not good, man.
What does Defeat the Label mean then?
Yep, so it's a subreddit of Exception. Exception is the brand itself.
Yeah.
Defeat the Label is basically just like a subset of Exception, meaning like defeating the social labels that are placed against you. It's something that I was very involved with on campus at Ohio State. I tend to lean more towards just the concept of self just being an exception to society, being an exception to whatever is thrown at you. And even though it gets kind of cheesy with Defeat the Label, I've drifted away from it a bit, but it's still part of the part of the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just making sure that you're staying in a constant awareness. Like, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. Like, this is what I want to do, and this is who I am. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I just think it's a cool thing to vibe with, to be honest.
Live that motto all the time. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me.
Yeah, it's just anybody can use that, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you do. It's just
how you make yourself better every day.
100%, bro.
That's awesome.
sure.
Because when you said the sub label, like, because I have like the Stay Beautiful America, I Love You Guys, Have a Good One. That's sort of my sign off. And then like my other thing I really have identified with is be weird, be different, be yourself.
Nice.
Like just
how about with that? Yeah, that's cool, man.
You know, just simple but effective. Because at the end of the day, like nobody wants to be an AI generated person or like an NPC. Like don't be a lemming or part of the crowd.
Exactly. I mean, like even I can tell by talking to you, you like talking to people. You like just being open and hearing other people's stories.
Always.
And that's what it's about too. Just as a person, making sure that you can, just get to know somebody, know what they're going through, and know what they want, and so you can better friend them. Just have a good relationship.
Be more relatable to people.
Yeah, for sure. You want to hear different experiences. You want to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a curious person.
And on top of it, everyone loves to talk about themselves. Yeah, so it's not hard to get someone to open up.
Listening goes a long way, man.
Oh, it really does.
It really does.
It blows my mind, though, how sometimes there's people who don't listen at all. And, like, they just yap. And it's just like one goes through one ear and out the other, and like, or you tell them something and it's like lights on, nobody home.
Well, that's another issue in and of itself. It's like, I don't know if it's a narcissistic thing or it's just how people are fine-tuned, but they listen to respond and not to like understand. You know? So it's just anything that you tell somebody, they could just go right out the ear, start talking to you about they turn it to talk about themselves again. Yeah. It's just like, nah.
And I'm like, dude, I can't do this.
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna take a step back. Like,
and I always make the joke too, like I always say when I meet someone, within 3 minutes I can always tell, like, are we gonna vibe? Are you gonna be a normal person, or am I not gonna dig this?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's a good time frame, because a minute's not enough time. 2 minutes, 3 is like, okay.
We're like 5 in, so I think we're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But when it comes to your music, how do you go about like writing? How do you get inspiration? I know you said you like to talk about write and if I can talk, rap about like relatable things that's happened to you in your life. But when you get in that songwriting mode, how do you decide, like, would you just sit down and you pen and paper, or you an iPad and notes, or how do you go about it?
That's a good question, man. I think it's circumstantial. I think that for me it's depending on where I'm at, depending on what I'm feeling. There's cheesy ass times where I want to go sit by water that's big, like just I remember when I wrote my first EP, I did some of it at Lakewood Park over here.
Yeah, over by the Solstice Steps.
That was a really cool place to just kind of tune out.
Yeah, for sure.
But a lot of times now, like, I built a house in Columbus, and like I built a studio in there, and it's my safe space. Like, I just I want to sit there, I want to create. Like, it's where I don't hear any noise. I turn off everything. There's not even white noise in there. It's like we foamed it out to where it's like super quiet. So I can just sit with my thoughts and put stuff on paper. And a lot of times now it's just you better your craft and you just throw spaghetti at the wall. You freestyle. Yeah. And, I'm just hey, hit the button, let's go. And whatever happens, whatever I'm feeling at that moment, it'll come out. And I'm like, oh shit, that sounded dope. Let's go this way. What I mean? So, and of course we have a team of writers that helps too. And I can't take all the credit, but I mean, at the end of the day, again, it's all where you're at, where you're feeling, or how you're feeling, and you kind of just go from there.
Does the beat come first, or does the lyrics, or how does it just depend?
It's funny you said that. I was listening to something Drake said a couple weeks back, where he was talking about like how he hears the space between beats and not the beat itself. Where, I mean, I feel like I can catch a beat, I can understand where it's going, but I really like to hear like where I can fit in a song, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't really like to hear a beat first. Sometimes I just like to write, or I like to just say, like, mumble and come up with like tunes in my head, and then I'll find something that complements it. So I'll start with lyrics, I'll start with a melody that sounds good, and then I'll hit up a producer like, hey, what drum kits do you have that I might be able to use? That Hold My Way one we did with Rami from Cleveland, he heard it and he was like, hey, I got these really cool Moog drums, I think it would sound dope. And we kind of went from there and it was a completely different song before he worked on it. So it's always just like building from the ground up. Yeah. I don't like to hear the beat first, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You want to have the lyrics ready to go and then find the perfect beat that complements the lyrics.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, if there is something that sounds good, like if there is a beat out there, I'm like, oh shit, that was dope. Like, let's get it. But a lot of times for me as a composer, I like to sit down, I like to write something. I want to have some type of storyboard in front of me, and then I'll go from there.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
So you've been on tour and stuff. I know you've got. I was like I said, I was doing my homework. So earlier you kind of did a little bit of West Coast, Texas, and then you did some East Coast stuff.
Yeah.
How did you go about like getting on tour, and like were you the headliner, or how,
No, yeah, good question. So I really believe in it's about who you know and not what you know.
Yeah.
It was just meeting the right people, and honestly, just as a kid, I would just call up these places like, hey, will you take a chance on a kid if I pay you a flat fee? I was doing like work study at Ohio State where I'd get some bullshit $2,000 paycheck a month or something. I wouldn't use that money. I would just say, hey, if I pay you like a flat rate, how could I book your venue? I did it for like 4 or 5 locations. I started West Coast. I went down. And sometimes that phone call, even if you're waiting on hold or just working behind the scenes, like I wasn't signed at the time. I didn't know what I was doing. I just would call them up like, hey, I'll pay you if you give me a chance. Then that's when you start trying to figure out how to market it. I don't care if there's 10 people at a show. I didn't headline all of them, but I did headline some and I sold out some.
Yeah.
I think we sold out, my first sold out show was Chicago, which it's not even my hometown. I was up and coming. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I take pride in that, but I think we started West Coast. We went from like Seattle down to like Arizona. Mm-hmm. Then we came down to Texas. We went up to like New York, Philly, and then wrapped in Columbus. We haven't really done too much in Cleveland, which I should. I think I'm going to start doing a show here soon. But
that'd be dope. I'd have to come.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool venues in Cleveland too.
Definitely.
Like it's really, I feel like it's slept on a lot too. Like
I like the smaller, intimate venues myself. Like, don't get me wrong. Like going to a sold out arena or like Blossom or like a football stadium, like that shit's cool. But like, I'd rather be at a concert where there's only like 2,000, 3,000 people, and you're just more intimate, and you're there.
Yeah.
Like you feel the music more. I feel like
I had that first experience with. Country's not my genre, but I appreciate it. I started vibing with it a little bit. I went to a Russell Dickerson concert a couple weeks back, and it was super intimate. There was only like maybe 400 or 500 people there. And
where was it at?
I think it was called Flanagan's in Columbus. I think it's called. I just went there, and it was super personal. It was super like acoustic, and it was a completely different vibe. I loved it. Like you felt like you were part of the show, and I feel like I need to start incorporating stuff like that too. I try to be very interactive with stuff I do on stage, but that was just like completely different. Just everybody's in a little tiny room, and you know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of cool places in Cleveland like that too.
Yeah, I always liked House of Blues for like a good show.
Yeah.
The Agora's not bad. Anything like I said where it's just you and you feel like you're with the guy on stage or whoever's performing. I always just think that's fun.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been to House of Blues in a minute. I think last time my buddy's James, he plays for Tropodelic. Yeah. And I think they play there a few times.
I saw Lil Wayne there back in, I think, April.
Oh, really? How was that?
Honestly, I was a great show. He played like 40 songs, but like he only did like the first verse and chorus, and then...
Well, I don't know how he does that shit, because I watched so many videos on Lil Wayne. He does not write his music. None. He just gets on a mic, he starts talking, and he'll forget what he said. So that makes sense with like his first or second verse or something. Cause
he'll do the first verse, hit the chorus, and then like, all right, on to the next song.
Yeah.
So like it was cool in a sense, but then there was times where I was just like, damn, dude, I wanted to hear the whole song. Yeah, this one's hard. Like don't cheat out on me.
All the classics too, like and stuff.
Yeah, he had a good mix of everything. It was a good show, and, again, it was just cool because we were, we got there early, waited in line before they even opened the doors, and we were pretty close to the stage, and it was just like, when you're in front of Lil Wayne like that, you're just like, damn, like...
Yeah, we grew up listening to that.
Exactly.
Like, I can imagine, what's his name? Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
I remember, when he started, popping off, and he's around our age, I feel like, and I'm sure he grew up listening to Lil Wayne, and when he got his first... remix done with Lil Wayne and Baby and them, I'm sure a feeling like that, just to have him on somebody you grew up with on the track is just euphoric, man.
That's gotta definitely be one of those type of moments. Do you have any dream people that you'd like to collab with, or if you say you could pick any artist to do a song with, who would be your choice?
I'm in love with this chick named Abir right now.
A who?
Abir, ABIR.
Okay.
I tend to not try to go with all the mainstream artists, but she's super dope. She's this Moroccan singer. I fell in love with her when I heard her voice. She's just she's a great singer, but her writing capabilities are crazy. They're outstanding. I think that I would love to just sit in a booth with her for hours and just create music. Like, probably go on a date too. No, but still, I mean, like, she's just like really dope as a, like, it's hard to, you get like personalities from people in their music, and you get that from her too. She's she, like, her music's different. She has like that, I don't want to compare her to like Ariana Grande, but I would love to get her sound in the same like environment as mine. I think it would blend really well.
Yeah.
So I think if there's anybody, it'd be her for sure.
Dope.
Yeah.
Another random thing about the tours. How many concerts do you know how many like shows you've played at this point? I mean, or have they just all not blended together?
They don't. I mean, obviously, I gotta humble myself. I'm not huge, right? But I've definitely lost count.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like you got shows where it's, hey, we're booking something tonight. You down? I'm like, yeah, let's get it. But then there's also ones that you remember, the big ones, the ones that have thousands of people at them, or the ones you're opening for some big artist.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, I mean, if I had to put a number out there, I mean, we're for sure in the hundreds.
Dope.
Like, you get like a repetition too.
Yeah.
It's easier and easier.
Yeah.
But
just
with
like riding a bike.
Yeah, for sure. You just tend to forget a little bit too.
Yeah.
But there's certain parts of each show, like, you always remember, like, this kid that you saw, or like this, this event that happened, this fight that happened over there. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something that plugs in your mind to where you can
give you like a flashback.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
I mean, there's always something.
Do you said you've opened for people. Who's like one of the bigger people you've opened for? Do you have like a most memorable person you opened for?
So, a lot of the big events that I do is like the fest where it's multiple people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the coolest person that I shared a stage with was Nate, NF. That was really cool. I wish I got to like sit down with the dude. Like, he probably didn't even know, like, oh, who's that kid in the front? But like, he was doing all these fests and stuff, but I was like right before. And that was cool because I grew up listening to his music. It's something that I found comfort in, like that emotional rap, like expressive rap. And like, that was like my little Wayne story. Like, oh damn, like, that's cool. I just got to be. He's opening up. He's going on the stage next. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that would be one that was like, damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any other maybe music related type questions, but I don't want to beat the dead horse too much because
no worries.
There's a person outside of you that's not just the musician. There's like an actual human, so I kind of like to get to know that side of someone as well.
I appreciate that,
man.
Man.
You mentioned video games. I actually was going to talk to you about this because I don't really play video games that much anymore. But I used to love the N64 and PS2.
Nice.
So like,
That's
I don't
classic,
know.
Man.
I don't know if you like had any favorite like throwback games. Like, I always loved SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 or 4.
Those were both.
I like grinded on those games. N64, I love Super Mario. I love Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye.
Yeah, for sure.
NFL Blitz. Like, I don't know if you had any like all-time faves.
I think mine would be if we're going back that far. It's like NBA Street.
Oh, NFL Street was my favorite.
That was good too.
Dude, the pickup games, just honestly, it was so genius. I think to have a game like a sports game that there wasn't a time on the clock. You're just playing to a certain score.
Oh, it's the best.
I thought that was because that way it's like the game takes as long as you take, and you're not waiting to run out of clock. Or,
man, there was nothing like the PS2.
Dude,
I remember my buddy Josue lived across the street from me. I would just go over there every day. We'd play the game for hours, and it was back then. It was one of those games you're doing the same thing every day, and every time you play, you're just playing football or playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no like reward for it. You know what I mean? You just keep going against each other. And you never got bored of it.
No, it was a simpler time, I feel like.
I wish, man. Like, now we get bored easier, or that there's so much to do with games now. It's like, I miss just being able to sit there and do that. You know?
Yeah, just one thing and only one thing. Because I remember you could beat the league and you make your own team. Yeah. And either you could like steal players from other teams, or you could like just go through and like upgrade your guys and like, make them like NFL stars.
It was fun, man. This cat looks like his name should be Walter.
Because he's grumpy looking?
Yeah, he just looks like a little classical man. He's a cutie, man.
Yeah, so that was my best friend's cat. He got him when we were like in college together.
Uh-huh.
And I just came home the one day and I was like, oh, we have a cat now.
Oh,
So
nice.
I was feeding him lunch meat. I got him really big. And then so I've known this cat since he was like a kitty.
That's
and
awesome.
he got married to Olga, and Olga's allergic. So I don't think she really cared for him a whole lot, but, dude, what a boss.
He's
But
cool, man.
so Zach was like, I got to get rid of him. And I was like, well, I'll take him off your hands, bro. Like,
Yeah.
look at that.
He's just loving it right now.
Oh, dude, he's such a pet whore, but he's
Yeah.
like a friendly guy. He just looks like he's always mean mugging
Yeah, I
you.
know.
Like, it's the eyebrows or like his eyes.
I love that. Little Eeyore cat.
Look at that. Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad. That's.
That's a bit right there.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, little man? Oh, he's living like a king right now. Look at him.
Oh, yeah. You a happy guy?
With you, man. Now you made me want to get a cat, man.
Dude, honestly, like, I love dogs, to be honest. Like, I love all animals. I'm not like.
Yeah, of course.
I'd love a dog, but like, the way I live my life, I would be a terrible owner, and I don't want to change my lifestyle to be that guy who's like, oh, I got to go home and let the dog out. Oh, I can't be out this late. I got to go get the dog. Like,
I've wanted a French bulldog since I graduated college back in 19, I think, and I just know I'll never be able to give a dog the life that it wants.
Yeah.
Because I'm always gone.
exactly.
And I don't want to, maybe I'm selfish, but I don't want to
No.
even have somebody else take care of the dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I
That
want to love
sucks,
my
too.
little man and
Yeah.
take him everywhere, but I just don't think I'd ever, maybe one day, if things slow down, I'd get a dog, but it's also a big responsibility. Like,
Cat, though, on the other hand,
just do his thing.
feed him twice a day, give him a little, make sure his litter box is good. Other than that, he's like, he's going to do whatever he wants, and
Yeah, like right now, he's just, what are you doing, little man?
he takes naps everywhere. He likes coming up here to chill. Hey, get out of here. No, don't play with the cord.
Walter the cat.
Walter. He does kind of look like that, like an old grumpy man. On another note, too, this
Yeah.
is so random.
Yeah.
I saw your post. You bought your mom a house, and you
I
made
did.
that happen. You said it in one of the songs. I feel like it was in a lyric.
Yeah.
And then, so, was it a custom build home, or did you just buy one in Columbus, or
No.
I don't know where she lives, or...
Yeah, no, she's in Northeast Ohio.
Okay.
I built mine in Columbus. Things were going great, and I was like, let me build something from scratch. I don't want to buy a used house because I'm picky, so I built it. But I mean, we grew up really rough. When I mean rough, like very rough, where we didn't have anything. My mom was trying to make ends meet, where we would have to, at our house in Cleveland when we went to school here, like. We couldn't even take baths and showers. We had to boil water on the stove, put it in the tub, and
Oh,
we
wow.
took turns on who got the hot water first. Thank God we had neighbors that let us do laundry and stuff there. And like I didn't even have a bed till I was like 17. So,
Whoa.
building that house was monumental for me. Like, damn, I really got out of what I was. But even though my mom is in a better position now, I've been taking care of them. It was, okay, I'm living this low-key luxurious life, and I got everything that I could ever want for in life, and she's still in Cleveland, not at that same house, but she's not in the same position as me. So I said, all right, man, I think it's time. Let's just get her in a better position. So Nico's mom actually was...
Hella.
Yeah.
Hella's awesome.
I love that girl to death.
I used she helped me buy this house.
Nice,
So
yeah. She's amazing. So I told her, I'm like, listen, I want to buy my mom a house. I don't want to tell her about it yet, but next week I want you to meet with her and just show her some houses. My mom found one. She fell in love with it. I was going to buy her a duplex, so I was going to set her up to where she could
rent out the
one side.
and it pays for the mortgage.
Yeah. And what I did was, she fell in love with the single family house, so I said, you know what, like, you like this? Boom. I went to the bank, I got all the cash I could. I was like, yo, take this. If I don't have to get a mortgage, I won't. I'll pay cash if you want me to. Just whatever you want to be happy, go do that. Now she's got her house. She has a big patio where she can go out and drink her coffee every morning. Like, even like those little things, being able to see her do that every day, seeing the smile it brings her, I'll take that over anything.
Is it in the Cleveland area?
Yeah, it's closer to, I don't want to give it a location, but it's in the kind of Cleveland area.
Cool. You got a good rapport with your mom then, good relationship?
Oh
You
yeah, I
guys
love
are
my mom to
close?
death, man. Back home when me and my twin sister got scholarships to Ohio State.
You have a twin?
Yeah, I'm a twin.
Wow.
She's the hotter one, but but yeah, I'm a twin. Me and her both received scholarships to Ohio State, and my mom would always bust her ass to make sure that we got to where we needed on time. She would walk in snow to get us where we needed to as kids before middle school. But she was like all our meetings she would take us to, like to make sure we maintained our scholarship before we got to college. We were in this program called Young Scholars, where from like the 6th grade to like 12th, you had to go to weekly meetings. And it was always, all right, how are we going to take the bus there? Are we going to pay someone $5, $10 in gas money to take us? We didn't have cars. But she always made sure she found a way to get us there. And if she didn't, she knew somebody that could. So for that, I feel like even though we struggled, it makes me appreciate my relationship with her more. So, I mean, we're like this to this day.
Yeah.
So.
Do you visit her often?
I try to. Obviously, I'm
I know,
very busy.
2-hour drive.
Mine. Yeah, but like even like I'm barely in Columbus as it is because of what I'm doing. Like after I leave here, I'm going to New York, and then right after that, I'm going to Atlanta, and that's all in like a same couple day period. So I see my bed maybe 2-3 nights a week, if that. So if I can't get there, I can barely get here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like I try to come, once a month, if not every other month.
Yeah.
And I try to stay multiple days while I'm here.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm like, hey, come to Columbus for a little bit.
Stay at my house.
Yeah, you have a key, go do your thing. My twin will come down with her. We have my little brother as well. So I try as much as possible. Holidays, I make sure that I'm always there. When I was up and coming, I would, I'd have a show right before Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'd have to miss home, spend it alone. But now that I'm in a position where I don't need to do that, I'm always holidays are always at mom's or my house. I hosted Thanksgiving and Christmas last year. So
cool.
That is what at least holidays, I can make sure that I'm there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Man, that story is just,
yeah,
wow.
Man. I think that's like, I will say that's the biggest accomplishment of my life.
And well, everything about you, I think, is awesome. But
thanks, man.
The scholarship, was it academic?
Yeah. So they wanted to give it to just my twin. They took the top 30 kids in the city of Cleveland. I was 36. Keith Lofton, shout out Keith, I love him to death. He gave me an interview because my sister and them told us, like, hey, you have to interview both of them. If you can't take one or the other. I just killed my interview to where we're all just sitting and crying in this little room as a 6th grader. Like, he's like, we're going to give you guys both scholarships. So I was like, all right, dude just handed me $125,000 just because I did a good interview. Like, I can't fuck this up.
Yeah.
So he changed my life. If it wasn't for him, I would not been able to go to college, do all the music stuff, find out what it was. I could be on a whole different trajectory.
You really would have been.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That he really looked out for me there. But it was academic. You had to keep a specific GPA.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 3.5 or something like that, or 3.0. I don't know. It was high. But Cleveland inner city schools, it's not. Maybe that's wrong to say, but if you can get to school, it's not hard to maintain a good GPA.
Yeah.
You realize that when you get to a big university and realize how much these better funded areas like educate the kids better. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
I feel like that just says a lot about your drive and you know your motivation in life. Like, you're clearly. I like that about you. I think that's cool that you're calculated and you know what you want and you're going for it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'd like to think that I am. Just I'm very like a racehorse is like blinders. You just laser focused.
Yeah.
I know what I want. I know where I want to be. I know what I want to do to get to a point where I want to end up. So I take steps and I try not to focus on like the broader situation. Tackle one thing at a time. And whatever I can do in this moment right now, I'll handle the rest later.
Yeah, for sure.
It adds up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I always like to ask the question to people, do you have an all-time favorite album and an all-time favorite movie?
Ooh, I like that.
Because I love music and movies. Like, there's
I like that, man. That's cool. Off guard with that one, but I'll start with movie just because it's easier for me.
Yeah.
All-time favorite movie, without question, is The Pianist. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I don't think so.
So it's about this piano player, played by, I think it was Brody. They're in the Warsaw Ghetto during World War II. And the movie's so dope. It starts off with this piano player just playing his piano in passion, just like locked in, but bombs are going off everywhere. Like, the house is shaking, the rubble's falling from the skies, everybody's running around. But this guy is not deterred. He's just playing and playing and playing. And that in and of itself is such a powerful message. But like scene 2, it sets the movie up for everything that happens. I don't want to spoil the movie.
Yeah, no.
But it basically just talks about him trying to become a piano player and like make it big during that in Poland when they're at war.
Yeah.
Which
wow.
we can go. It gives you. We see World War II movies all the time where we understand like what happened, but like that movie does a good job at making you live through it, which is it just makes you appreciate his struggle in and of itself. And I think that like the end result of that movie and like what happens through it is just like one of the. I haven't seen anything that compares to it, but I think I relate to it too. It's like, man, if that guy can chase his passion through all of that, I have no excuse. Nobody does. And like him being able to still want to play without having a bite to eat is just like, you know, I'm locked in. I'm not going, like, fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the best. For music, that's tough.
Yeah.
I tend to look at music like, what did said individual do to inspire their genre, to change their genre, or change the culture of it? I think that I do music a disservice if I go lyrically. I tend to go back further and to look at the composition itself. One person I grew up with as a kid that I fell in love with was Dizzy Gillespie. He's this really cool trumpet player. I remember being as a kid, he would always have these really big cheeks, but his trumpet would point up like this. My 4th grade band teacher, Mr. Cotona, is the one that showed him to me. And trumpet was the first instrument I ever played. It was what I learned. And that's where I gained something to relate to with him. But he brought this different sauce to jazz, bro. Like he would, like, the way he played inspired so much music in the 60s, the 70s, 80s, which those songs is what inspires a lot of the compositions we listen to today. And the cool thing about it is just music. It's at its raw form. It's just, there's no lyrics in it. It's just him playing, music of itself. He has multiple albums, so I can't really pick one of his albums, but I think I'll answer like his catalog of albums is what I think is best all time, just because of what it did. I think if I have to go lyrically, I'm a rapper, so I like the Jay-Z's, the 2002s. I'm a big Kid Cudi fan. Kid Cudi's one of my favorite artists of all time. Man on the Moons were great. Obviously, you got to appreciate what Kanye did for music back in the 2000s too.
Yeah.
I think that just to stay fair and stay consistent with that answer, though, I have to go Dizzy Gillespie, like in just his albums.
Wow, I like that. Definitely didn't expect that at all. I'll have to give that a listen to later. Mm-hmm. Maybe when I'm mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let me look at my phone here. I think we touched pretty much base on everything I was hoping to discuss.
Yeah, of course, man.
The only thing I had, the other couple things, the Trump mugshot. Any thoughts on that?
I think what was funny about it was the memes that.
Yeah. Oh God, so many memes.
Yeah, and it's like we're in such a weird time now where I feel like you almost can't have an opinion with certain people.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to be able to have a conversation with someone and them not get offended, because there's people that support Trump religiously. Yeah. There's people that don't, and there's people on both sides. If you are an opposing figure, you're either a bigot or you're too much of a Libby, and it's just like, man, fuck both of you guys. I'm just gonna talk to you. I'm gonna give my opinion. Let's have a consensus. Let's be able to congregate together and just be okay after our opinions are said. And so many people have an issue with that.
I know.
Like that, I'm going off a tangent, but the picture was fucking funny.
The picture was great. The little the eyes down,
the bewildered look,
and then the whole the hit 6'3", 215.
Oh my god!
Like, bro, how many? You had to have lied by at least 30 pounds,
bro. That was that. When I saw that, I just like that dog meme where he's just like, he's just like,
yes,
like, all right, let's take it back a bit, but
right.
That was funny, man.
I thought that would just be something random to throw in.
Oh, yeah, for
sure. You're from Cleveland originally. Do you have any favorite places or things to do while you're up here?
Yeah, man, there's a bunch. So I grew up on West 110th and Lorraine. I would always go play basketball over at sometimes Thrush Park over there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just like to drive by just to remember where I've been. But in terms of Cleveland itself, I'm a big Cavs fan. I love going to games. I sit courtside a lot. It's one thing I won't feel bad for spending money on. I love doing that. But like the whole downtown scene of Cleveland's changing, or like the Flats, Ohio City too.
Yeah.
I just like trying new shit out there.
Always.
Especially when I'm in town. I don't want to sit at home or sit at a hotel. I want to go see what's changed.
Yeah, something to do.
I remember I was on tour during the time that they finished up the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse before it was the Q. I still call it the Q.
Definitely.
Yeah, but like just seeing like coming back and seeing all those changes and seeing how much progress they made is crazy. So I just like to go sightseeing. There's so many cool like spots, even if it's outside of Cleveland. Like I think the last place I went to was I think it's called Chagrin Falls.
Yeah.
And they have even like some cool restaurants and like waterfalls and stuff there too. It's just like
I like that area.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff to see here, man.
There really is, and Cleveland itself, I mean, is a specific city, but just outside of that Northeast Ohio, like the Tremont, the Ohio City, Chagrin Falls, there's always so many different places and things to do. So it's like you never really like. There's always something new to try.
Even like I think it's Westlake over there by like Crocker Park and stuff. That whole area is crazy now too.
Oh yeah.
I went up there a couple weeks back and I was like, damn! Like last time I was here, this was like parking lots.
Yeah.
And there's so much now. It's like almost a little mini mall. It's crazy.
And then I didn't know if I was gonna say something about if you wanted to do if you had any NFL predictions. I don't know if you're a big football guy or not.
This year is weird, man.
It is.
There's a lot happening. For football this year, I mean...
Do you root for the Browns?
We have to. Like, even if they don't. But this year, they got, like, some of the best, like, offensive... Like, it's... I'm just... I don't want to say anything because I feel like every year I say something, it jinxes it. And I'm like, oh, here we go. But this year... I genuinely feel like there's a good chance that something happens.
I mean, you got Nick Chubb. You got Amari Cooper, who balled out last year with Jacoby Brissett.
I still can't get over the fact that how we got Cooper and like how it was slept on. And then when he got here, it was just like, oh shit, like
this guy's a Pro Bowler before. He's played. He was lights out.
Yeah.
You got Chubb, Cooper. They even got who is it? Elijah Moore or Elijah? And then who's the other receiver they have?
There's one more. I forget his name, but it's the new pickup though.
Yeah, there was another pickup they brought in. And then obviously Myles Garrett, and they got like Zadarius Smith from the Vikings, I think. So like the pieces are there. They got a good corner in Denzel Ward, you know, like.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can say what you want about the dude's controversy, but like.
Deshaun Watson. Now he's had a full year. He's got the practice. He's got the playbook. Like, he doesn't have to deal with the suspension.
I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him in his element, just grind out and play. Like I love watching him in college, and I think like now. I think that with all those pieces, I don't see how we don't go either really far in the playoffs or if not to the Super Bowl. Like I don't think anybody in our division can fuck with us.
I mean, the Bengals are I think the toughest team, but I don't think the Ravens are going to be that good. I mean, they have Lamar Jackson, so they'll be competitive, but I don't think the Steelers are going to do shit. I mean, Mike Tomlin's a good coach, but
of course, like if anything doesn't happen with the Browns, of course I'm rooting for Cincy. You know what I mean? But like toe-to-toe together, like, I think we're good. Like
they have all the pieces. Like, it just matters, can they execute?
That's what I'm saying. And that's, like, we've had pieces before, and I don't know if it's the coaching, I don't know if it's the organization.
Yeah.
Cleveland has a bad rep with, like, their organizations and, like, how they handle things. And I'm not saying it is that way or it isn't, but it always comes to effect, like, oh, it's the coach's fault or it's this offensive line's guy's fault. It's just, like... I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't want to say any predictions, but I definitely think the Browns are going to the playoffs, if not to the Super Bowl.
I think they can win the division. Worst case scenario, get a wild card spot and go from there. I mean, I love the NFL. I mean, it's drama. Every week there's a storyline. You know, the whole is it scripted thing I think is hilarious because a part of me does at times. I'm like, some of the way some of those games shake out. I mean, referees, honestly, like, pass interference and defensive holding are literally some of the calls that change the game. Yeah. Literally, the outcome of the game. Like I just still remember the Bengals Super Bowl versus the Rams, and it was 3rd and goal, and they called defensive holding.
That was bullshit, man.
And then guess who got 4 more downs to score from the 1? Like I mean, shit like that just makes me get pissed.
I still get mad at that Super Bowl. The Bengals should have won that, man.
Yeah.
Like, every time I look back at it, I get mad. But a thing that I like about the NFL is it's not as consistent as basketball. And what I mean is, like, every year, every other, like, 2-3 years, it's somebody new. It's somebody, like, that team's hot now. Like, or, that team's really good. These players have emerged out of nowhere. And I don't know if it's because there's so many more players in football, but like basketball, it has gotten a little different, but it's always the same teams that are doing good.
Yeah.
Within a 5 to 6 year spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, back when Bron came back to Cleveland, Warriors and Cavs were the main. Then you still had like the West Coast powerhouses, and now East is like completely flipped. But you know who's bad, and you know who's not. You know what I mean? Like it's never like, well, I mean, what's a bad team in like the East? Like the Magic, even though they got some good pieces, like you never really like, oh, they're gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Like, when they were with Dwight Howard, like you thought like, oh, like they're good, but there's never like a doubt with basketball. Like NFL is always like, oh no, that could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I bet so much on NFL.
Yeah.
Do you bet at all?
Nah, I'm not a gambler. I always say I have enough vices. Like I already like to drink and partake in other things. So
I got into sports betting, but when it got legal in Ohio, I was.
Do you do like the parlays, or you just do?
Oh yeah, parlays all day.
Like stat line parlays, or what?
Yeah, I do like.
Like so and so is gonna have 3 touchdowns or more.
Exactly, I do them a lot with basketball.
Like
just
the prop bets.
I like to just like, hey, this guy's gonna get over this many points. This guy's gonna get this many assists.
Yeah.
I've hit so many like random ass parlay. I remember last year, or no, the beginning of this year, I hit off of like for like $50, I won like 60 bands, just off of like 11 leg parlay, like for the Boston Celtics and Dallas Mavericks, just like surgical. Like, this guy is going to get exactly this, boom, 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 down the line, and it hit. I was like,
Jesus
damn,
Christ.
I gotta start doing this a little more. Like, it was like,
60 G's?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was wild.
That is fucking nuts. Oh my god.
Shout out DraftKings.
my buddy used to send us like his screenshots, and he would always send us like his parlays, and it like 6 out of 7 would hit, or 7 out.
That's the hard part.
And he would always be 1 away from hitting, and every now and then he, I would always make the joke like it's like football. He gets down to, he's throwing a Hail Mary, and he catches it, but he's at the 5, and he just can't get in the end zone.
That's awesome, man. That's the thing, though. Like, you got to know your limit. If it becomes something bad, or it's taking up like an actual amount of money, you gotta cut quits. Not that I get there. I would never let something consume my life like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that.
That's a nice little PSA to throw in there.
Yeah.
After the DraftKings shout out. By the way, if you have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Please.
What is it? Like 1-800-GAMBLE?
Oh yeah, they do got a number for it.
The hotline. Imagine that, like calling in to the hotline. I'm really having a hard time here. This money line.
My thing is on the other end of that. I'm curious to see what the people say to get you to
not gamble.
Yeah,
right?
like I'm gonna look it up on YouTube later. Just like, hey, I want to see a video of somebody on that call center. Just like, I just can't fathom.
Yeah, like what? What do you tell them?
You bet. Like, like it doesn't make sense. He is just living right now on the floor, just chilling.
Oh yeah, dude. This is his spot. I think he loves the carpet up here.
I love that, man.
But I think this was an awesome show. It felt great. You're an awesome guy.
Thanks,
before we wrap it up, though, where can everybody find you on, find your music and everything like that? If you want to plug your stuff in.
Appreciate it. My new single, "Hold My Weight's" out now. You can find me. Just type in my name on any social media platform you have or streaming service. NadiemMusic.com. NADIEM. I appreciate any support. Love you guys.
Awesome. That's going to wrap up this episode of Stay Beautiful America. Thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Dope.
Oh, man. Killed it.